The main three, Joker, Crane, and Wayne, I think they were all cast perfectly. Like, each one of those actors embodies that role as Joker, as Bruce Wayne, and as Jonathan Crane.
I feel kind of bad. I've put Noah into sort of a similar kind of character for the past two movies. Is that he's someone who, you know, he's played the friend that appears genuine, but kind of turns on him in some sort of way. But it's very different between the two movies. And this one, I love what Noah brings to it. And there's a reason that I've given him that kind of role is because he's so good at it. He's such a good actor that he can play both the sincere friend while also playing this kind of guy who's willing to kind of do some shady stuff on the side. He's willing to have this dichotomy, the duality of man. And Noah does that so well with giving one character multiple sides. So I do that because he's such a good actor. And I love what he brings to the role of Jonathan Crane. I think it's something that we haven't really seen in the character before. And, you know, it's a character that's not like super popular within the Batman mythos. I mean, he's pretty popular, but there's so much room for bringing something new to the character. And Noah does.
You know, Jonathan Crane is kicked out of, you know, his college, and like that's such a huge deal. And like, what does he do after that? Like, what is he willing to do to get back at those people who kicked him out, or to rise up once again? And Jack Napier's Red Hood, you know, falls apart pretty fast, like where people are just kind of like, you know, I you know, came here to make a change, but not like this. I'm just trying to live a life. And so you see people have to come to face with like a failure, whether it's on their own part or something that's a little outside of their control. And you see Bruce kind of having to deal with like all this, like he is stepping up and he's kind of like, you know, I'm old enough now. I can make my own decisions. And my decision is like, I want to be more active in this community. And I think if you're asking like what we could learn is, I think the idea that, you know, the world is, you know, changes pretty fast and it changes a lot. And there's I guess just a need to adapt, but like to stick by your guns too, you know, and to not be afraid to get out there and make a difference, and to be more active in your community and like the world and like politics in general, like just at the very least being more aware.
I think focusing specifically on Jonathan and Jack's relationship, it's interesting to think about how much the Joker's transformation affects Jonathan's own perspective. I mean, obviously he doesn't know Jack very well, but you still have someone, you know, someone who's respected, and then all of a sudden things are flipped and he's turns out to be this awful person. And seeing the dark side of somebody like that, it makes you wonder, you know, what does Jonathan think about Bruce after that? Does he really see the same in people after such a reversal with someone else who you thought would give you value, who you thought would take care of you and give you a purpose, and then just switching that on its head entirely?
It just adds more to these characters. Like, it just kind of fleshes them out in a different way. Because, you know, I'm sure Jonathan Crane, I'm not super familiar with his current backstory, but, you know, I think this is like a lot more interesting and relatable because these are younger characters too. This is like Batman when he's like 20, 21.
One of the biggest differences between the Best Medicine and its kind of source material in general with the Batman mythos is the backstory of Jonathan Crane. And, you know, he goes from being this kind of university professor or Arkham doctor, or, you know, or someone who is an adult with an occupation, to being the student who is still looking for how he's going to find fulfillment. He's looking for a way that he's going to use his talents. He's still looking for that. He's a student. He hasn't even graduated college. And that's something that completely redefines what the character's goals are. And it gives him a goal of trying to find himself while also making a use of his talents. And that's something that we all relate with. It takes this villain and makes him relatable, while also all the main characters kind of share that struggle. Well, Bruce Wayne is trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. And that's something that every single person in the world knows what it's like to try to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And that's something that we all can relate with. And I love that's the story that The Best Medicine is able to tell, because it's something that's so real for all of us.
There are different types of brotherly relationships, even with people who are not brothers, like Jonathan and Bruce. Their relationship is not purely, equal. I think Jonathan, in ways, is a little more dominant in the relationship there. And maybe probably a little jealous of Bruce as well, And so jealous of what Bruce has. And that's a really good parallel between Cain and Abel. Just the jealousy between what one has and what one doesn't. And the selfishness of thinking that you're so much better that they don't deserve that.
Bruce's relationship with Jonathan, I thought, was impactful. Seeing my character Bruce and Noah's character Jonathan at the end quarreling over killing the Joker or not, I thought that was really impactful. Immediately right off the bat, one of the first things we see is Jonathan Crane comforting Bruce and being there for Bruce. And I think that shows really how great of a friend that he is. Throughout the course of the film, he is a good friend and even maybe a brother to Bruce. When he confronts Bruce saying that your wealth is, because of weapons manufacturing or whatever, he's trying to help Bruce and making him realize that. And he knows that it would hurt Bruce's feelings for him to say that, but he genuinely feels like Bruce needs to hear that and also wants to defend himself. But the best friends are the ones that can point out things to you to help you get better. And I think Jonathan is a great friend to Bruce in this movie. And he's saying to Bruce, maybe leave Gotham because, staying in Gotham is not going to make you the best that you can be. Yeah, I think Jonathan does a great job of wanting to make Bruce the best that Bruce can be.
Something that sort of surprised me as I started writing, right before I started writing the script, as I was outlining it, is that I quickly realized that the Joker wasn't even the main antagonist. Right before I started writing, I realized that this was leading, the climax was really, the conflict was between Jonathan and Bruce. And it's while they were friends, while their friendship continued to be strong throughout the entire film, the main conflict is between them wanting each other to be better. And I think that that's so interesting because it's, it's a real, that's, a lot of real arguments come out of that, or real discussions, I think we've all had discussions with friends where we want each other to be better. And because we care about each other and wanting each other to be the best that we can be, sometimes it comes off as, as harsh and good friendships, that can work out and that's something where you can listen to each other and be able to speak honestly. And with Jonathan and Bruce, it comes close to that, but it starts these arguments. And then, at the end, it ends with somebody dying. And it's tough because yes, their friendship is so strong, but that's also the main conflict of the film, is wanting to make each other better. And I think that's so interesting because there's a element of really real, something very real in that we can all relate with.